I can get started. Well, hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about something that is very personal to me. When you see me, most of you see, just an average-looking 18-year-old girl, but I, Sai Young, am here to attest that I am a huge Korean pop music fan, also known as K-pop. So you're probably wondering how or what could I possibly talk about this for 12 to 15 minutes, and trust me, I've talked about this way longer. But K-pop is so much more than music. It's a family, it's a lifestyle, it's a movement. So today I'm going to focus on these main ideas. The history of K-pop itself, how K-pop is influenced by Western culture and vice versa, how K-pop is assimilated into South Korean culture, and how K-pop idol life and how controversies are surrounding their companies, and finally how K-pop is actually used as a political weapon and tactic. But to get started, a non-biased definition of K-pop is it's a music genre originating from South Korea that is characterized by a wide variety of audiovisual elements. It contains complex dances, raps, intriguing fashion, and many catchy tunes. A majority of K-pop is actually done within groups, and it's not that many solo artists. And actually, K-pop is not restricted for just Korean-born artists. It's actually pretty diverse in its ethnicity. It has Chinese members, Japanese members, Korean-American, biracial, Thai, the list goes on. But to just have some history of K-pop, in 1989, Lee Soo-min founded SM Entertainment, which is one of the biggest K-pop entertainments ever. Next page. But however, the term K-pop wasn't coined until 1992, with the emergence of the first K-pop group. Then other companies began to form, which JYP in 1997 and YG in 1998. But in 2001 is when the K-pop company started going out into other Asian countries. But in 2012 is when K-pop finally hit American culture with a song that I'm sure you all have heard of, Gangnam Style by Psy. It is one of the most viewed K-pop videos and one of the most, the third most watched YouTube video ever. But before this exposure, K-pop, Korean music actually derived a lot of its components of K-pop from Western music. According to Byung Halu, in the 1950s is when Western culture began to emerge in Korea. And hip-hop made its way over in the 1990s, and K-pop took many of its components from it, like the rap and dance styles. Western culture is actually really quite popular in Korea, and K-pop is how they express their love for it. However, K-pop definitely brings up the question if it's taking or contributing to Western culture and the roots of hip-hop. And while that question is in black and white, as I stated earlier, K-pop is rapidly increasing in the US. According to a chart that was in my PowerPoint, I'm not sure what happened, but it has the layout on the map, and it shows the demographic of K-pop and where it's most popular, and the US is actually one of the most popular fans of K-pop. So, but K-pop also is a really popular consumer for America, and is finally being represented in American TV. So BTS is actually one of the first K-pop groups to be nominated for an American Music Award. They won the BBMA Social Artist Award, and they're going to be the first K-pop group to ever perform at an American Music Award, the American Music Awards, which I think are happening November 19th. So, also the next slide, it also shows that North America has actually been increasing their tourism to Korea. So K-pop has actually done a lot in funding and being a great consumer for Korea. And according to the Huffington Post, it's one of the country's biggest exports. In 2011, the export income was around $180 million, which is 211% from the previous year. And on the home front, the music industry greatly affects the domestic economy. So much so that a single performer can affect the Korean stock market. For example, the entertainment company YG dropped about 10% after a Big Bang member, which is a K-pop group, was involved in a marijuana controversy. And similarly, IU, who's a solo K-pop artist, her company's stock price dropped about 2.46% after she mistakenly posted a scandalous photo on Twitter. But not only does it impact Korea economically, but also socially. Representation and reputation is a big deal in Asian countries. It's one of, you always have to have a stoic face and be a bit more conservative. It's actually pretty taboo in Korean countries to show any cleavage, but when it comes to K-pop, they tend to be a bit more scandalous and expressive. However, on the darker side of this, there tends to be a huge problem with over-sexualization of K-pop idols, specifically female idols. Next slide, please. Fun fact, the girl in that photo right there is actually 15 years old. They're required to wear skimpy clothes and perform very sexually suggestive dances, starting at a trainee level. Trainees can be around 11 to 21 years old. So I actually had a friend who went to Korea to audition to become a K-pop idol, and when she walked in the room, all of the judges were middle-aged men. She felt very intimidating having to perform these promiscuous, I guess you can say, dances in front of them. And it saddened her to see all these underage girls come in and have to dance in front of them as well. But on the brighter side of that, there is more regulations in the over-sexualization of K-pop. So according to Billboard News, South Korea has created a law in 2014 that states young female K-pop stars will be protected from sexualization and overwork. Korea is pretty much notorious for having unregulated entertainment companies, but this law will guarantee minors the right to sleep, learn, and say no to being over-sexualized. It will stop illegal chorus and minors wearing revealing stage costumes and sexually suggestive choreography routines, and breaking this law is going to result in a $10,000 fine. As for the overwork, weekly working children under 15 cannot exceed 35 hours, and 15 or older cannot exceed 40 hours, and they cannot work between the times of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., unless a guardian gives consent. Overall, Korea is a bit more on the conservative side with their morals, but K-pop definitely spun out of its control with its over-sexualization. However, it is uplifting to see that a solution is in the process. But, as much as I love K-pop, it's not a perfect world. In fact, it's a really demanding and competitive one. And I want to highlight the harsh reality of K-pop idols' lives and how controlling the companies can be in personal life invasion, restricting romantic life, signing long binding contracts, demanding excessive dieting and plastic surgery, creating non-flexible schedules, and picking favorites. We all know when it comes to celebrity life, privacy and freedom is a lacking factor. And we all sometimes forget that celebrities are human too, but while this is a recurring theme universally, it really happens a lot in Korea. A majority of companies actually force K-pop idols all to live in the same dorm. And people think that's only for the financially better reason, which it is to an extent, but it's mainly to regulate them and monitor them at all times. According to a news article posted by All K-pop, hidden cameras were actually installed into Girls' Generation's dorm room. They're a really popular girl K-pop group. And actually we know this because footage was leaked of them just doing mundane things around their house, like lounging and eating food. And that, I believe, is just wrong on so many levels. While yes, they are under the company's dorm and under their contracts, it's just a huge invasion of privacy. So next, on one of the clauses on their contracts, there's something called the no dating rule. This rule doesn't apply to K-pop idols that are 24 and older, but if anyone under that age is caught dating, they are required to terminate their contract immediately and go back to normal life. So one of the major recent cases that happened involves a boy who's in a K-rock band called Day 6, and they debuted in 2015 with 6 members. However, Jungkook, one of the members who was age 22, was caught dating a fan. He posted pictures of her on his Instagram, and when JYP discovered this, they made him terminate his contract immediately. The girl and him had only been dating for 40 days. That is just truly shocking that companies would go to such an extent, all because of a short romance. And it shows that companies truly do not view their K-pop idols as humans that they are, but rather props that just make them gain money. And also back to the extremely manipulative and binding contracts. My friend who auditioned to be a K-pop idol, they told her if she was successful after her callback, she would have to sign a contract that made her permanently stay in Korea for 6 years, and she wouldn't be able to visit her family back in America. That's the maximum time for training period. If trainees do not debut in between that 6-period time, they are immediately dropped. And after, if they do debut, they have to sign a contract that can be up to 5, 10 to 15 years. And under that contract, K-pop idols are not allowed to promote or do any ads that are not approved by the companies. Well, Soppy News released an article talking about how Tao, a Chinese member from a group called EXO, filed a lawsuit actually against SM Entertainment, claiming that the contract was unfair. But SM Entertainment refuted the claims by saying, the original proposed contract should pose no problem whatsoever because it was on par with the regulations proposed by the Fair Trade Commission. Which basically the Fair Trade Commission is South Korea's regulatory authority for economic competition, and it was established in 1991. Tao said that his main problems with SM Entertainment was the duration of the exclusive contract, the distribution of profits, and the claims of discrimination. Unfortunately, Tao lost his case in 2017. And now we're going to be talking about the image of K-pop. On the outside, we see fun-loving, pretty smiles, but how these smiles came to life and how they appeared is actually pretty dark. According to Hello K-pop, some of the diets that they have to go through are really scary. There's the 1,500 calorie diet. There is the paper cup diet, which is where they fill a cup about yay big 3 times a day, and that's all they can eat. And then there is the 1 food a day diet, where they stick to a low-calorie food and just eat it periodically throughout the day. With 10 to 12-hour practices, constant exercise, and these strict diets on top of a busy schedule, it causes a lot of fatigue issues. There's so many videos of K-pop idols fainting on stage due to overexhaustion. They go through so much to reach these nitpicky beauty standards, and trust me, you think American beauty standards are hard? Try going to Korea. It's very singular there. And recently, actually, a new member of a girl K-pop group called Christine has sparked a lot of debate over her weight. A lot of fans have been calling her overweight and saying that she shouldn't be a K-pop idol, she can't take care of her body. Well, next slide, this is what she looks like. That is considered overweight in Korea. And I believe in all of our eyes, that's a pretty standard weight. I mean, she's pretty healthy. But because of this outlash, Kyla, that's her name, has been required to diet more and has recently went on hiatus. Not only is body figure important, but also facial appearance as well. According to the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons, claims that 1 out of every 5 women in Korea have plastic surgery. And a lot of people in Korea actually aspire to be like K-pop stars, but the truth is K-pop stars are the #1 consumer of plastic surgery. And the sad thing is K-pop companies recommend for future idols to get plastic surgery. They can't force it, but if you say no to their recommendation, it really limits your chances of becoming a K-pop idol. And trying to fit and box yourself in the pressure of these beauty standards is really detrimental to mental health, just universally. And finally, there's a lot of underlying favoritism that occurs within the relationship of K-pop idols and their companies. Relating back to EXO, who I talked about earlier, there were many lawsuits filed within the groups of claim of discrimination and favoritism. So, just a little background on EXO, they're actually split, it's 2 groups. It's EXO-M and EXO-K. EXO-M is Mandarin, EXO-K is Korean. And they would perform the same songs, just in different languages. However, they were treated very differently. EXO-K was put on a way higher pedestal. According to an article written by the Wall Street Journal, they talk about how 3 members of EXO-M, Chris, Luhan, and Tao, filed a lawsuit against EXO Entertainment about profit distribution. Not only was EXO-K receiving way more, but SM had to take a huge percentage of their income, and only a very small portion was actually given to the K-pop idols themselves. So overall, seeing the truth behind K-pop shows that it's raw and compelling, yet I hope that we see justice towards these cases, and the restrictions are loosened a bit, and then we start to alleviate the pressure of these really harsh beauty standards in their country. But now let's talk about how K-pop is more than just catchy tunes and dances. It's a weapon. It's used to send a political message, and it's even censored to show defiance. So first of all, we all know that North and South Korea have major differences, but there's specifically been a recent feud at the demilitarization zone connecting North and South Korea. So according to an article on CNN, South Korea turned up its loudspeakers and played K-pop songs such as Bang 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 by Big Bang and Megusis 2 by G-Friend in response to North Korea stating that they had tested a hydrogen bomb. Another country that used K-pop to send a political message was China. According to Digital Music News, China brought up the idea to actually prohibit K-pop content, and that K-pop stars would be no longer to star in Chinese entertainment. In July 2016, Seoul agreed actually to host a terminal high altitude area defense system, which is the advanced missile defense technology, to better defend itself against North Korea. But Beijing has long voiced their opposition against this. And while nothing has been confirmed, just the threat of this scares K-pop companies in Korea so much because China is a huge consumer of K-pop. So one can see how important and vital these cases are. The fact that K-pop is using to talk and respond about political messages is kind of amazing. But now to close, K-pop is a huge, impactful thing. To quote one of my favorite K-pop idols, CL from 21, she says, "You can just enjoy the music without understanding it. Music is a universal language." K-pop influences so many factors, not only in Asian countries, but American ones as well. It dictates what our generation likes and how we fight and respond. And while it may have its many, many cons, and it still needs a lot of improvement, I really hope it starts getting more popularity worldwide and getting the recognition it deserves, because it's so much more than just cute guys and cute girls dancing. It's about creating a community and finding a common interest that speaks for all of us. Thank you.
So I actually have a little bit
So keep yourself
of experience with K-pop. I really like Baby Metal. I think they're awesome.